Now, that looked really quite bad. Now, on his right eye, essentially, it was sort of filled
bloodshot,
with,
wasn't it?
with blood, completely bloodshot.
The world seemed to pause on that brisk fall morning in 2025. King Charles III, lines of determination and quiet sorrow carved across his face, stepped before flashing cameras at Buckingham Palace. This wasn't a typical press briefing. It was a historic moment destined to echo through time. Flanked by Queen Camilla and Prince William, the 76-year-old monarch revealed a new personal struggle, a mystery illness now shadowing his ongoing cancer fight. Though he left the diagnosis unnamed, his words carried a haunting weight. And then, in a breathtaking turn, Charles announced his decision to pass the torch, not to William, but to his daughter-in-law Catherine, Princess of Wales. Whispers spread through palace halls. Catherine, watching from the sidelines, was visibly shaken. Tears streamed freely, not only for Charles's declining health, but for the colossal responsibility he had just laid at her feet. The moment was raw, powerful. A mother, a wife, a royal suddenly facing the unimaginable. A crown offered too soon. What was this new illness? Why Catherine? And how would this reshape the royal family forever? Stay with us as we unpack this emotional chapter. Don't forget to leave your thoughts below. The king's voice, steady but laced with weariness, carried the weight of mortality. "My family has always been my foundation," he said, locking eyes briefly with William, "and now I turn to my daughter-in-law Catherine to guide this nation forward." The revelation stunned royal watchers. Online discourse erupted instantly. Yet behind the noise, it was Catherine's quiet sobs that painted the most human picture. A tale of trust, devotion, and a family weathering the unknown. King Charles's address was carefully worded, veiling his latest diagnosis in discretion. He mentioned a recent health complication, separate from the cancer discovered in February 2024, now being managed silently. The palace, in typical fashion, issued a brief statement confirming the news without elaboration. The secrecy only fueled a frenzy of speculation. What could this unnamed illness be, and why keep it hidden? Theories exploded. Some suggested chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, as a possible cause, citing the king's shortness of breath and slowed speech during recent events, like a state banquet in 2024. Others pointed to a visibly red eye seen on an overseas trip, dismissed publicly as a burst vessel, but now reinterpreted as a symptom. COPD is common among older adults and could explain Charles's fatigue, one he rarely shows but can't entirely mask. Others lean toward Parkinson's disease. A brief hand tremor during a formal greeting became the center of viral debate. Parkinson's, with its gradual impact on mobility, would demand perseverance. Palisades quietly admired Charles's commitment despite signs of strain. Though unconfirmed, these theories paint a portrait of a monarch facing battle on multiple fronts, with a nation's expectations resting on his shoulders, and the lack of clarity, it only deepened concern. Privately, insiders say Charles opened up to Catherine first during a somber night at Sandringham. Their conversation stretched past midnight. Her own cancer journey, which ended in remission in January 2025, offered her a unique ability to understand. "He didn't ask for pity," said one close aide. "He wanted empathy." Catherine gave him exactly that. The king's health has been a marathon, not a moment. Since his cancer diagnosis, he's balanced exhausting treatments with official duties, from global visits to Commonwealth summits. Admirers praise his resolve, but behind the scenes, friends note a more introspective Charles. Quieter, contemplative. Catherine, always intuitive, became his confidant. Their shared vulnerability forged a bond of profound trust, and is at the heart of his decision to empower her. While speculation swirls, it's this emotional truth that cuts deepest. Catherine, Princess of Wales, stood just behind the press podium that morning, her navy coat perfect, her expression serene. To the public, she was composed. To those closest, she was a woman holding back tears. As Charles revealed his illness and entrusted her with leadership, her hands trembled. It was too much, a palisade confided. She felt every ounce of his trust and every ounce of his pain. Her tears hidden from view reflected a nation's ache. This wasn't about crowns. It was about a family bracing for loss. Catherine's depth of emotion has always defined her. Her own cancer diagnosis in March 2024 brought private torment. She spoke later of putting on a brave face while silently enduring the horrors of treatment. Now, in remission, she still faces exhaustion, lingering anxiety and fear of relapse. That journey made her uniquely equipped to stand by the king. When he confided in her, she listened as someone who knew the path intimately. She understood him completely, said a friend. When he placed his trust in her, it broke her heart and lifted it too. Their relationship had always been strong, but illness made it unshakable. Charles, in private, often refers to her as my strength. They've shared many quiet moments, tea in Sandringham, hushed walks in palace gardens. His naming her successor wasn't just royal, it was deeply personal. For Catherine, that announcement was an immense honour tangled with grief. Her tears flowed for Charles, for William, silent yet shaken beside his father, and for her children, who adore their grandfather. She also cried for the monarchy she must now steady. In that moment, she wasn't just royalty. She was a woman carrying the hopes of an entire kingdom. Charles's move to name Catherine his successor sent tremors across the monarchy. It wasn't just surprising, it was transformative. Why not William? Why Catherine? The answers lie in a careful web of emotion, politics, and modern sensibility, woven by a monarch staring down mortality. From a practical view, William's plate is already full. He supports the monarchy, prepares for future reign, and cares for his recovering wife and young family. Charles saw William as the long game, the pillar for the monarchy's future. Catherine, however, was the right choice for now, a stabilising figure during the current storm. Her resilience through cancer gave her strength that couldn't be taught. She's faced darkness and emerged stronger, a senior aide said. Charles knows she can lead through this moment. Beyond that, Catherine's growing global appeal sealed the choice. Her openness about her illness and graceful recovery touched hearts. She became a symbol of endurance, planting cancer charity gardens, delivering moving speeches. Charles recognised her power to unify. She's not just admired, a royal insider shared, she's believed in. The king's bond with her is not merely symbolic, it's rooted in emotion. Over years of shared trauma and healing, their connection deepened. Late-night phone calls, letters, quiet conversations built the kind of trust few outsiders can understand. For Charles, this wasn't just legacy, it was love. She connects the past to the future, said one aide. William, they say, supported the decision entirely, seeing it as a tribute to his father's wisdom and a way to protect Catherine's healing. Together, they're a formidable team. Her warmth balances his calm. This decision also marks a shift in monarchy tradition, one based on adaptability, not just protocol. For Catherine, the weight is real. Her tears showed the rawness of stepping into such a role. She's ready, said a royal staffer, but she's human, and that's her strength. Charles's choice stunned every royal, each processing it differently. William stood tall during the announcement, projecting steadiness, but his eyes held grief. He's proud of Catherine, worried for his father, and quietly preparing for his own time. He's her anchor, a confidant shared, but he's also shielding her. Queen Camilla, ever composed, stayed close to Charles with silent support. Behind the scenes, she's battled her own health issues and has been quietly mentoring Catherine, offering wisdom from a life in the spotlight. The children, George, Charlotte and Louis, felt the shift too, even if shielded. Their bond with Charles is tender, full of laughter and bedtime stories. Charlotte, increasingly aware, asks deep questions that cut to Catherine's core. At a recent gathering, her embrace of Charles brought tears to William's eyes. George now checks in on his mother, showing signs of gentle leadership. Even little Louis lifts spirits with his cheeky humour, often coaxing smiles from Charles at hospital visits. The extended family has rallied, Princess Anne, the Duke of Edinburgh, all quietly strengthening the royal core. Together their unity reveals what Catherine's tears truly meant. A family not fractured, but tested and holding firm. Catherine has found her strength in the eye of the storm. Her sobs backstage weren't weakness, they were clarity. Since her diagnosis, she's journeyed through fear, fatigue, and the emotional aftershocks of healing. Declared in remission, she's been honest about the struggle, especially the draining recovery. But through it all, she's emerged composed, grounded. Her peace is rooted in simplicity. Walks in nature, music therapy, time with her children. These moments refuel her. She's not chasing appearances, said a friend. She's chasing calm. Her recent public events show evolution. At a cancer charity visit, she bonded deeply with patients, speaking from experience, not scripts. I'm learning every day, she said. smiling but with eyes full of depth. Charles saw this empathy as her greatest strength. Within the palace, she's already a quiet leader. William depends on her pragmatism. Charles turns to her for thoughtful talks. Even the children mirror her calm. She's not just wearing the crown, one aide said. She's carrying the whole family. Catherine has quietly prepared for this. Years of royal duty, diplomatic training, and personal struggle have shaped her. Her battle with cancer taught her to value what truly matters: family, meaning, legacy. When she wept for Charles, it was with resolve as well as grief. She didn't seek this path, but she's ready to walk it. So what's next for Catherine and the monarchy she may one day lead? Charles's 2025 announcement reshaped royal history and launched a global conversation. Her potential role as regent isn't ceremonial. It's symbolic of a new age. Her tears weren't only for Charles's illness, they were for a future she's already helping to build, where tradition and progress can coexist. Catherine's story is still unfolding. Her openness during illness made her a global inspiration. Now, stepping into power, she's pairing empathy with leadership. Sources say she's already discussing mental health and environmental efforts, issues she and Charles share. She doesn't want the crown, said a palace aide. She wants to make it matter. The monarchy's next chapter may be led by a woman born a commoner, but forged through grace and resilience. Doubts remain. Some wonder if tradition has been bypassed, but Charles's belief in her is unwavering. William's support firm as ever. This is more than succession, it's transformation. And for now, Catherine continues balancing royal duty with bedtime stories, school runs, and walks with her dogs. She is, above all, a mother, a woman, a survivor, and now, a royal leader poised to carry not just a crown, but a nation's hopes. What do you envision for Catherine's royal future? Share your thoughts below, and stay tuned as we uncover more from the heart of the monarchy.